At this point, I'm gagged at how many technical difficulties I've had filming this final part. You guys wouldn't believe me if I told you, so I'm gonna spare you. But just know this video was recorded. There's over 3 hours of footage and none of it is usable because there's no audio. So, welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of 3, 4, and 5 Bougie Vintage, and today's video is Tasmanian Devil Part 7. This video will actually be split into 2 because, like I said, over 3 hours of footage. So we cannot upload over 2 hours to YouTube. Well, we can, but like that's a lot of editing and it's really time consuming. It takes long to upload and the logistics of it you really don't care about. So let's get right into this video. I'm sure at this point you're dying to know what my sister responded when my mom busted in her room and said, "What is this? Why has my card not been paid for 2 months?" But before I let you know that, I must answer a few questions like I do with all the other videos. One of the questions I saw a lot of was like, why did I let her get away with so much? Why didn't she get kicked out after the first gaslight or the first, crazy thing she did? My niece and my nephew were her saving grace, point blank, period. My niece and my nephew saved her from being kicked out. I was not about to kick out my niece and my nephew because they were really innocent in this whole thing. They had nothing to do with anything and I wasn't gonna kick them out even though their mother was obviously off her rocker, okay? So that's a part of why I never kicked her out initially. Another question or concern that I need to address is my work schedule. I keep seeing this question or this comment from multiple people saying, well, I don't understand why Saturday affects your work schedule, and I don't understand why she needs to take the work days away from you in order to work. Like, I'm not getting it. I don't know what you guys aren't getting. But what I need to clear up is that I did not work Monday to Friday. I said I work 5 days on, 2 days off. My 2 days off were not Saturday and Sunday. My 2 days off were Sunday and Monday. So Sundays and Mondays were my day off, my ex-husband's day off, Chucky. That's the other question. Everybody's like, who the hell's Chucky? Chucky's my ex-husband. That's what we refer to him on this channel. And my mom also had the same days off as Chucky and I. So when my sister's taking my work days, she was taking between Tuesday and Saturday. That's why I didn't want to give her the Wednesday initially, because on the Wednesday would be this, it would be like I'm working Tuesday, I'm off Wednesday, I'm back Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I didn't want to do that. So I said, I'm going to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. She can have Friday. I'm back Saturday. But then she ended up saying, I'm going to have Friday and Saturday. So that didn't pan out. So I hope that clears up that. I didn't work Monday to Friday. My 5 days on were Tuesday to Saturday. So that's why the Saturday was my day and why it was affected. And one other thing I wanted to say is listening is absolutely key. So there was comments about, well, you said they cling to her. Now you're saying they didn't cling to her. If you listen, I said when they first arrived, they definitely did cling to her. There's at the 11 minute and 33 mark, I said they cling to her at first. So when they first arrived, it was new for them, new for my mom, so she could not manage that. Later on, she would just use it as a scapegoat. Say, oh, they're clinging to me today. I can't leave the house, which was BS because at that point they had adjusted. So that's why I said, yes, they cling to her at first. Listening is fundamental. So let's move right back into the story. So my mom busts into her room and she's like, what is this? My sister's like, I know what I'm doing, Mom. I have a plan. My mom's like, a plan? What do you mean a plan? Like, a plan for what? It's not giving. There's a plan here. I see my card. I see 2 months, no movement, no payment, nothing. You need to run me back my coin. ASAP. My mom's like, what do you mean you have a plan? Honestly, at that point, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in the room. There was many times that this happened where I was wishing I could be a fly on the wall in the room because I would have liked to hear what plan she had, because I don't believe that she had a plan. Her plan was to run off on the plug twice. Like, what was the plan, baby? Anyway, my mom is like to my sister, pay my card immediately. And she's like, well, she's like, I have money in my savings account. Do you want me to take the money out of there? Like, she's basically asking my mom if she cares about my sister's savings account, because my mom always has encouraged us to save and stuff. So she's trying to use it against my mom now. That my mom has always encouraged us to save money, and now she's trying to be like, you want me to take the money out of my savings account? P.S. there's obviously no savings account to move money from. My mom's like, yes. At that point, she didn't care what she did. She's like, as long as the money gets put back on the card, she don't really give a damn. So yes, do that. And so my sister pretty much said, okay. She had her phone in her hand and was acting like she was going to open her bank thing and make a payment, but that's not what was going on. So my mom made the mistake of leaving the room without verifying, getting a confirmation code that it's been paid. She said, you need to pay it, expected it to be paid. So she left the room without getting, you know, solid proof and evidence that she indeed did pay. My whole thing is like, don't ask that lady no questions. Don't be dumb. Pay that lady, pay the lady. Don't be dumb. Don't be asking her no questions about some, well, do you want me to take it out of my savings? Yes. That has nothing to do with her. First of all, there should only be money going into your savings account after all your bills are squared off. So don't ask no dumb questions. Keep in mind, this conversation happened in July. Remember, I don't know that conversation happened, and I don't know that any of this is going on. All I know now at that point was, or all I know now is that I'm stressed, I'm panicked, and my mom is telling me she's moving out. I'm already dealing with my issues with Chucky, and then now my sister on top of it. Like, the last thing I needed was for my mom to try to tell me that she's going somewhere. Before I knew it, girl, I was in the kitchen telling Chucky that come Tuesday, I'm gonna be a bald woman. I'm shaving my head, yeah. It's Britney, bitch. So I went to Chucky and was having that conversation with him because for years and years and years, I had always said I wanted to shave my head. However, this time it was because I needed to feel free. I needed a new start. I needed to do something rebellious. I don't freaking know. I just knew I needed my hair gone off of my freaking head because I was probably gonna pull it out. It was way too stressful. So, of course, when I tell Chucky this, and keep in mind, for years, I've always brought up this I want to cut my hair off thing to Chucky, and Chucky would always do the same song and dance, which he also did in the kitchen, only now was a little different because our relationship had been so strained. So when I was going to him about shaving my head, he did his same song and dance where he's trying to talk me out of it. And then once I put my foot down and said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you it's happening. I'm doing it finally. I've probably gone to him like 4 times in the last 10 years saying I wanted to shave my head. And usually I consider what he says because he was my partner. I cared about, you know, his feelings. Is really drastic to shave your hair off. That's always why I brought it to his attention. And at those times prior to that, like, I cared, but this time was very different for me. I didn't care, and I was ready to go. I was ready to leave him or for him to leave me. So I did whatever I could, thinking that at least that would happen if I shaved my head. And literally I used to joke and tell him, which it really wasn't a joke, but like I used to joke and tell him, like, when you see that my head is bald, it's because I want you to break up with me, because you're forever talking me out of it. So I know, like, you're not gonna like it. Obviously it didn't work, but neither here nor there. Anyway, because he started to disrespect me in the kitchen and argue with me about it, like, he was just being ridiculous and rude. I literally, instead of waiting till Tuesday, I marched up the stairs and shaved my head, and I will insert the clips so you can see. This is the very day that this conversation happened. This argument happened in the kitchen with Chucky. This is when I shaved my head. You might even hear him come into the room while it was happening, while I was doing it, or maybe the clippers were too loud, but like, he opened the door, saw what I was doing, and he said something, and then he closed the door and came out the room.
Not gonna explain anything, just gonna get right to the chase. Nope, this side's lower than this side. Whoops. But I would cry. And because I'm not crying, that means I know it needed to be done. It's very patchy, but it is what it is. And now I will go shower.
I was so done with everybody, including him, including Tasmanian Devil. I was just done. I had enough. I needed my hair gone off of my head because I needed to feel lighter. It was my love letter to God. I was like, I'm ready for any kind of changes, metamorphosis. Lego, okay? I'm ready to cocoon and be a butterfly. I want real change. God knew I was ready for real change, and that is why I shaved my head. Now, after that happened, of course, the next step was breaking up with YouTube, which was devastating. I was crushed, but my hands were tied. I was forced to do it because of everything that was happening with the Tasmanian Devil. My sister did not want me to be able to work because she didn't want me to be able to have access to the finances to be able to have my mom as a nanny and really just super duper helpful wherever I needed her. Like, my mom is literally an angel, like an angel. And just to even put this into perspective, I worked today. I recorded this video, like I told you guys, it's over 3 hours and 20 minutes of footage. When I realized my microphone was not working, after I had sent the files to Jalen, I went and like I was laughing about it because I'm like, the devil is a liar. You know what I mean? Like I literally, like, I should be upset about it. I should be crying, weeping, but like I wasn't, because I've experienced this kind of warfare before where stuff is concerned, or where like work is concerned. So it didn't faze me like the devil would want it to, okay? Ain't no witch or warlock coming up against me, period. So when I discovered that I had zero audio, literally, I was gagged. But I went and I told my mom, I said, Mom, if I told you this, you won't believe it. And she's like, what? I tell her what happened. She was like cutting the grass at the time. And she's like, wow, that's a serious attack. And I said, I know. So then I'm inside and I'm chilling. And my intent was to come back tonight. Like after I like bathe my kids and put my kids to sleep, I was gonna come back and come and film the video again. And I'm sitting downstairs with the kids and my mom comes inside. Mind you, she's worked today. She's been with the kids all day. My mom's like, go and film the video. I'm gonna take care of the kids. Like, I could cry. She's like, I'm gonna take care of the kids. Go finish filming and get your work done. That's too crazy. And that's what I mean by she's a godsend. Like, my mom is literally an angel. So for anybody to try to play her is beyond me. Anyway, my sister didn't want my mom to be able to be my nanny or whatever, so she was trying to disrupt that in any way she could. She didn't even want me to be able to buy the nice things that I have. Like, she didn't want me to be able to do anything. That's essentially what it came down to. There's no way to spin it. It was wicked, bad mind. It was evil, and I'm never gonna pretend that it wasn't. I really just feel like you'd never really know who is plotting against you. It could be your own damn sibling. Because this situation was so traumatic and because I tend to block things out of my mind, I know I'm forgetting certain key elements, but you guys get the gist of what was going on and just how ridiculous the situation is. So it doesn't even really matter if I leave out here and there, because enough of what I told you, you kind of are gathering like, okay, this is not some normal situation. That being said, I don't want to forget this part in particular because early on, I think actually when Richard was still here, her husband, because she had maxed out the cards at that point, keep in mind she did pay at that point, put the money back on, blah, 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 blah. But because she had them maxed at that point, my mom was going to cancel her eye appointment and she couldn't pick up her prescriptions because she usually uses her credit card to do those things and she had no cash. So she was going to do that, and she tells me that she, my sister maxed the cards and she can't, she's gonna, and I'm like, are you gonna say something? She's like, yeah, but not yet. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to pay for your eyeglasses. Like, My mom needs her eyes to see, okay? See to watch the kids that my sister wants her to watch. My mom needs her glasses. My mom cannot see without her glasses, okay? It's giving blind as a bat. No shade, okay? My mom needs her glasses. She does. She also needs her medication. So why would you max somebody's cards like that and be just so inconsiderate? You know what I mean? Who does that to their mom? Either which way, I paid for my mom to go get her glasses and her medication, and she was fine. But my mom never wanted to come to me and tell me because she didn't want to burden me with that stuff. So, but I was like, Mom, that's never okay. And I'm never going to, it's never a burden. Never that. Okay, you watch my kids, you need your eyeglasses. I'm aware. So canceling appointments is not okay. And because somebody has maxed the cards out. No, if I were my mom in that situation, I would have went to my sister and I would have been like, or went to my daughter and would be like, excuse me, I have an eye appointment. You've maxed my cards. I need to get my glasses. Where is the money? Where is the money? Period. But that's neither here nor there. So I break up with YouTube and slowly but surely became your toxic ex that would pop up on you and slide in your DM and see how you and your mama was doing. I was posting once a week. And at that point, I was not even mad. God had my back. So when this was happening, I was like, I don't know, I just didn't have a chip on my shoulder about it because there was no need to. I had my conversation with God. I said, God, if you could guarantee me the income, I'm chilling. And he did. And that was that. I didn't need to fuss about it because I knew he was holding it all the way down. That being said, my sister wanted to go viral on YouTube, okay? And at the time, she had been posting like motherhood type content. Some of the motherhood content she had done well after being up for a little bit of time. For whatever reason, there was a surge in like people needing to know about certain baby stuff. So one of her videos had done well, and so she's the type that thinks that, okay, well, that video is doing well, so let me push out more content that's exactly like that so that I can get more viewership. Like, she uses these crazy tools. I'm like, I have been on YouTube for what, 8 years? I don't even freaking know. And I have never in my life used a tool that you type in the title or potential title that you're going to use, and it tells you how popular or not popular it is. It gives you like this graph thing. I was like, I had never seen this in my life, and I don't know, maybe I should use it, maybe I should, I don't know, but I was like kind of flabbergasted because I'm like, what? You just title your video and you put it up, girl. But she was using the tools, honey. Everything with her is super duper calculated. I guess it's a smart tool to use, but like I just had never seen it before. But her main concern is always the biggest, going viral. You know, she wants it to be, I guess, as lucrative. She wants to do it how I do it. She wants to do it like it's her B-day, baby. She wants to do it full time. But baby, not everybody can get on the full-time wagon. It's just that. So she wanted to go viral on YouTube, and she wanted to post more motherhood type content. That being said, once she got here, we convinced her to wean her child. Her daughter was doing too damn much where nursing was concerned, and it had become an issue. So we were telling her to wean the baby, and so she finally did wean her. That is a whole other irrelevant. So once she weaned her, she didn't have tits, or she couldn't do like breastfeeding stuff. However, my swatons, the boobies, the breast, they were boobing, and I had just had Nola. And so who better than me and my, who better to help her? So me and Queen Nola were used for breastfeeding content, and the gag here is I wasn't even posting really on my own channel. Why was I helping my sister with hers? But I just want to say that speaks to the type of person, that speaks to my character. It speaks to who I am, just period, as a person. Because despite all the stuff that she was doing, I was still out there helping her with her YouTube channel, despite the fact that I just pretty much gave up mine. And I wasn't mad about it. She needed my help, so I gave it to her. And that was that. That was it for me. You know what I mean? There was a few things that she had me film with her. Nothing with my face, obviously. You gotta pay for that. But she had me work on a few pieces with her. She had my feet for like a thumbnail. And realistically, I have very pretty feet, and like I should have charged her for whatever pictures she was taking of my damn feet for her little thumbnail. Use your own damn feet. My feet are so damn pretty. I'm ready to sell them. Sell pictures on the internets of my feet because like it's giving cute. But I'm not going to just yet. Times get hard. I know I can rely on my feet. Okay? So at this point, my sister is, as you can see, creating work for herself. This was next level. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my life. Like, they say there's a first time for everything. And I think they meant it because literally I've never seen anything like this in my life. She is doing YouTube stuff. She's trying to post on TikTok and she's starting another random business. At that point, I'm like, interesting. So when my sister was working now and she had the full schedule because I was doing one day, I would often, not often, I would every day spend with my children. In the daytime, nighttime, give them their bath, put them to sleep, and then the night I had free range. Since when my sister got here, she stated that she cannot work or is not allowed to work. Obviously, now that she's creating jobs for herself and trying to keep busy, me and my mom are like WTF, and we can peep what's going on, but neither one of us are really, well, I wasn't. I don't know what my mama was doing. I wasn't really saying anything. I'm just watching and observing. That being said, a lot of the times when I would be with my children in the daytime, her children would get shuffled off onto me, which confused me. One day in particular, I remember getting so angry because, as I have clearly stated, I took off work. I was just being mama bougie in the daytime. It was just supposed to be me and my kids. And so me and my children were down in the basement. They were playing. And then out of nowhere, my sister comes down. I don't know. I think my mom, I don't think my mom was home. My mom was home. My mom was doing something. I don't know if it was one of my mom's days off. I don't know what it was. But she was busy in the house somewhere. So all of a sudden, my sister comes downstairs in the basement with her two kids. And she drops them off on me. And is like giggling and like sneaking out of the basement and closing the door behind her and leaving her kids down there with me and my kids. Now I'm confused because I'm not mom, I'm not grandma, I'm not nanny, I'm not babysitter, I'm not none of that. I'm not working. I'm minding my kids because I'm not working. What stay-at-home moms do. Partially. So I'm perplexed, trying to figure out why the hell is she dropping off her kids down here while she's upstairs working. Call the nanny. Ain't that what you wanted? So I'm like, absolutely the frig not, because it's one thing to watch her kids if she's running out to the store. If she asks me to watch her children, do not drop off your kids and giggle and leave the basement. Absolutely the frig not. I took my children upstairs, left hers in the basement, went to get my mom and told her Tasmanian's children are in the basement. You should probably go down there because I'm not watching them. I think I was most annoyed because all those times that my kids wanted to go outside with her and she was like, are you coming? Is somebody coming out here with me? She didn't want to watch them outside. If she was going out with her kids to jump the trampoline, she was leaving mine inside while I'm literally sat there nursing the newborn baby or working. Never asked her to do anything. And she didn't want to take my kids outside with her. So why is she now, while she's working, dropping her children off? I'm confused. I'm very confused. That don't make no damn sense. So, like I said, I went to get my mom. My mom went down and minded the children because I wasn't about to do it. I had already done enough, too much, and not enough at the same time. I really didn't understand what she thought that this was. One thing about it is I see a reoccurring theme and pattern in my life where people take my kindness for weakness. It's like I have pushover written on my forehead. Baby, it's never giving that. I've never been no damn pushover. I just extend a lot of grace because I like to see who people are, you know? I don't like that people think that they could take my kindness for weakness. And so the stuff that I put up with in the first 2 decades of my life, it's never going down like that ever again. Like, you could never. Grace pot done ran out because at that point, like, you are gonna have to go and ask God himself for some extra grace because it's not coming from me. I have run out, cup dry. I think where she had me messed up at was the fact that I was extending her grace and the fact that she thought she was getting away with stuff and that I wasn't peeping what she was doing. That's where she really messed up because she thought that I was dumb and wasn't seeing what was going on. She was getting away with so much stuff that she started to believe that she could continue to get away with stuff. So she kept pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope. I think too, because she kept doing stuff and I wasn't like being petty with her. I wasn't being acting annoyed. I was just living my life and never mad. And she's probably like, I keep doing this and doing that and she's not mad. I'm not kissing my teeth at her. I'm not rolling my eyes at her. You could never even imagine that I'm pissed off, secretly or not secretly. You could never think that. Like, I'm still in the midst of this. Like I told you guys, I was trying to sit and watch a Drag Race with her. So like, I'm still trying to hang out with her and stuff. Like, so she's probably thinking like, is this girl crazy? Like, why is she not treating me badly? Despite that I have taken over her entire home, essentially. You know? What I think everybody can take from that is it was just above me. It's above me now. It was in God's hands. I didn't have nothing to do with it. God's hands was on it. Mine were off it. So at that point, it was like, baby, count your days. Not the Lord's anointed. Like, God don't play about me. I keep trying to tell people. It's very evident. It's very evident. He don't play when it comes to me. Sorry. So, like I told you guys in the last video, initially when she came, my mom would be watching her kids and my mom would always need help because she said she couldn't manage them. So we would be playing in the basement. But then my sister turned their bedroom into a playroom and bedroom for the kids. They didn't sleep in the bedroom ever, not one time. They don't sleep in their own beds. They only sleep in my sister's bed. So she had mattresses in there, but the kids didn't use them. And then she just kept buying toys and toys and toys and piling them in there. And then my kids could not get in without wristbands, girl. It was denied entry at the door, like I told you. So because they couldn't get in and they were sad and upset about it, but I just had to explain to them like boundaries, space, quiet time, like however I could explain to a 2 and 3 year old or a 3 and a 4 year old that they can't go in because XYZ is how I did it, because I was sad for them, but there was nothing I could do at that point. Early on, the kids would all be in the basement and I would be helping my mom in the basement, but because my sister was so hell-bent on not having my kids around my mom when it was her day, that couldn't happen. So that's why she started to do the whole upstairs thing. I always felt it was unfair because if her son or daughter busted into my kids' room, which they always did, I never would think like they can't come in there or remove them. The only time I ever interjected is if the kids were playing with something and then her son would try to take it away from them and start collecting, because a part of his autistic traits is that he likes to collect stuff. So like if something is similar in shape, size, color, whatever, he likes to like group it. So he would do that a lot, but he would do it to not only my kids, but his sister as well. And everybody would always be crying or fighting, and it would just, this whole thing would ensue. He would just throw this huge tantrum because he wants the toys, but they were playing with it first. And so his sister loved playing with my daughters because they didn't do that to her. They just shared with her and let her play, but he didn't want to share anything with his sister, not even his mom. Like, he didn't want to share nothing with her. He would hit her, like kick her, all those things. And those are things that you obviously have to nip in the bud. Like, it can't go on, right? That's really where so much of this is sad, because her daughter wanted to interact with my daughters because it's nice to play with kids that want to play with you. You know, she loved her brother and always wanted attention from him, but like he was treating her like, I guess, brothers do. The reason that I'm bringing up this situation again with the toys being in that room is because one day my mom was watching my kids and they were hearing these crazy noises, like just literally crazy noises. And so it gets to the point where my kids are like not able to leave it alone. Like, they start investigating. I said, oh Chad, that's not the black gene, girl. You don't go investigating. I'm joking. So they go investigate. My mom is like investigating with them though, because they like are just obsessed. They will not leave it alone. So it's coming from the walls. So they're kind of scared. But fast forward later that day, we find out that it was her son throwing all them damn Peppa Pig toys that my sister had ran out and purchased every damn day of the week down my vent. Over $200 worth of Peppa Pig toys, please. Are you kidding me? And it didn't happen once, it happened 3 times with 2 different vents. I can't. The gag here was, the first time it happened, Richard was still here. But the gag here was that Richard and Tasmanian were in the room adjacent to the room that the children were playing in, and my nephew had taken the grate off of the vent, out of the carpet, very easy to come up, and was just chucking toys down there. Just chucking toys down there for, I don't know, at least 20 minutes. Like, unacceptable! All of his Peppa Pig toys were gone. And all my sister did was go out the next day and like buy them back. Unacceptable! It was actually ridiculous. So when it first happened, my mom was like telling my sister like, okay, well, you're gonna have to get the vents cleaned or get the toys out of the vent. So she called, and the people that were supposed to come and clean the vents, they said that, well, we can get the toys out, but there's no saying what condition they're gonna be in if we get them taken out. So at that point, my sister is pretty much feeling like there's no point in taking them out, which makes absolutely no sense because we don't give a damn about the toys. We care about the airflow in the house. Like, what? Why are you telling us about the quality of the toy after it gets sucked out of the vent? And then we also actually tried to use like a vacuum with like a stocking on it and like tried to get it out, but it was so far down that we couldn't. We have 9-inch
log out.
A 9-inch, girl, that's a small, it's giving Alice in Wonderland. We have 9-foot ceilings. So the drop down is deep in the vent. We don't press her about it, but she's fully aware that she needs to get the vents cleaned or the ducts cleaned, and she obviously doesn't do it. And like I said, we never pressed the issue. But the problem was that it caused a blockage and the air would not come up the vent. So in the summertime, the room was too hot because the AC couldn't flow, and in the wintertime the room is too cold because the heat can't come up. And that was a problem in both her bedroom and her children's bedroom because he had also thrown toys and other stuff down the vent in her bedroom. And we discovered that upon move out, because when we took the grate off of the vent, we saw her keys were stuffed in there, her freaking toys were stuffed in the vent in her bedroom, and a t-shirt. Unacceptable! A whole t-shirt. Ma'am, it's a fire hazard. Like, a t-shirt. My mom called me into his room. She's like, come and look at this. I'm like, what? So she showed me a shirt and I'm like, okay, like what about the shirt? She's like, it was in the vent. I'm like, I know you lying. A t-shirt. I can't. Fast forward to after my sister leaves, which we're not even at that part of the story yet, but fast forward to after my sister leaves, we of course get the vents cleaned. Girl, do you know how much money it costs to get the vents cleaned? We just obviously did the whole house, but it was over $1,000 to clean all the vents. And we did get the toys out. Please insert the photo and show them what was in the vent. And this is not even everything that was in the vent. When the guys got the stuff out of the vent, my mom said it just came raining down. It just came absolutely raining down. And then she's like, ended up having to sweep it into a pile to show a bunch of the stuff. It was unacceptable! How much stuff was in the damn vent? How many Peppa Pig toys? Like literally big pieces of Peppa Pig camper van. It was too much. It was too damn much. Anyway, when her and her man first arrived, I had stupidly, unknowingly mentioned that we would probably be able to share my office space because at the time I was gonna give birth soon. I wasn't gonna be doing nails in there, so I don't really use my office for like filming or anything like that, really. So I was like saying like we could probably split it somehow, utilize it together, especially because she had like a printer she was gonna put in there. We were gonna do the Cricut eventually, that came up, like blah blah blah. So I did mention that very early on when Richard was still around. But after she came and hijacked my whole entire damn life, like this is Captain freaking Phillips' boat, I was like, Yeah, no, I'm not trying to share my office space. It's the last thing I got left in this house that belongs completely and solely to me. Like, I don't want to share it. I'm not going to share it. It's too much.
It's not giving it.
And so I had gone to my mom and had that conversation with my mom. And it's like she could smell it, girl. It's like she just knew. Obviously, fast forward, Richard's gone, blah, 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 blah. I'm at the place where I'm like, I cannot share my office space and I'm not going to share it. If it comes up, I'm gonna say no. So because I was with my kids all day and putting them to sleep, bath time is 7:30, then I get them in bed. Because I was doing that, at nighttime after I put them to sleep, I would head downstairs and that would be like a sanctuary. It's quiet. All the kids in the house are asleep. The adults are in their quarters. I would be downstairs and I would be up until maybe 3 in the morning. And that would be my time to spend with God. That would be my time to get work done. If I had nail sets to finish and send out, like all that stuff, whatever I needed to do in that time, I would get it done. But a lot of my time would be spent with God because I would be listening to sermons. I would just be getting my head right and, you know, trying to stay grounded in everything that was going on around me. Because the fact of the matter was, had I not been spending that time with God, I wouldn't have been so grounded. I was so grounded in my relationship with God that when it came to my relationships with people, I was able to stay grounded no matter what they threw at me. It was giving dodgeball. It was giving dodgeball. So at this point, I'd be downstairs working in my office. It's like 11:30 at night is when I'd see the last soul come downstairs and then go back upstairs. They would usually just come down for water, and it would usually be my sister. She'd usually be the last person that I see for the night. I already said goodnight to mom, but nobody comes downstairs past 11:30. At that point, I've already been downstairs for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm gonna be up until 3 a.m. And then the next day, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna be with my kids, and I'm gonna do the same thing over again. And the next day, I'm gonna be down there until 3 a.m. again, because that was the only time now that I could work because I couldn't use my mom in the daytime anymore for childcare. So I was taking care of my kids in the daytime, and then in the nighttime I would get my work done. At that time, I had actually been gearing up to start school. I was going back to school for pattern drafting. I was actually reluctant and hesitant to even share that with my sister because I didn't want to let her know anything that was going on with me because I felt like she had a saboteur spirit on her. And like, I'm very much like that. If I sense that you don't have my best intention or best interest at heart, if I sense that there's something, you know, wrong emotionally with you, I'm going to be guarded and not share. I had the same experience early on in 2020 with Chucky when I was going back to school then, and I didn't want to tell Chucky. So it was very much the same feeling that I was having. I didn't want to share it with her until I had to. I didn't want to tell her. So I would be going to my mom and having these conversations with my mom about when school starts, but nobody knew I was going to school except for, at this point, my mom and Chucky. Now you're probably like, okay, why are you telling us about your office space? I'm not going to tell you nothing if it's irrelevant. One night, it's bath time for all the kids in the house, okay? We usually bathe their kids around the same time or like with a half an hour like difference. So it's bath time. And because of where my children's bathroom is, it's close to my mom's bedroom. And so a lot of the times when I'm bathing my children, I'll go into my mom's room and come talk to her while the bathtub's filling up, and like I'll just talk to my mom. So because I'm doing that, my sister obviously would come and join sometimes and have conversations with us as well. This night in particular, my sister comes into my mom's room during bath time and starts talking about the office space. What a time to bring this up, right? Why are we talking about the office space? She's talking about like if we can split, how we can split it, blah, blah, blah.
You done lost your damn mind.
Like she was out for everything I had, okay? What I like to address in this very moment is that narcissistic people, because they are agents of chaos and confusion, they like to get you in situations where you are either gonna be confused, thrown off. They like to come have conversations about what they want at inconvenient times, so you don't have time to think and say yes or no or like process it properly. That's why she was coming specifically at bath time. However, I had already expressed to my mom that I wasn't down to share the office, and it was like, oh my God, like why is this coming up now after I already told my mom I don't want to share it? I guess I could sense that she was trying to move into it. And so, you know, I just had my guard up. But when she said to me that she wants to like split the office, I didn't really have like an answer for her at that moment. And my mom saw what was happening, and she was like, she got in the middle of the conversation right away. She's like, ladies, go like talk about this in the morning, talk about this tomorrow. It's bath time. Just go bathe the kids and talk about this tomorrow. This is not a good time to discuss this kind of thing. And so I obviously agree with my mom. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Because my brain, which my sister obviously knew, was trying to process sharing. I was already distracted with the kids in the back. So like, I'm not having I can't give her my full attention to say yes to the office space, even no to the office space, like nothing. And she obviously knew that. This is a control and a manipulation tactic. It's how narcissistic people get control of their prey, their victims, whoever, by approaching them at inappropriate times, or times that are inappropriate and inconvenient for you, but beneficial for them. It's just so that you won't be able to see what web they're spinning. So I remember this situation really vividly because of what happened next. That was a Thursday night. Next day was a Friday. This meant two things. This meant that one, it was gonna be my sister's day, which means my mom would, well, her official day, but she already had the week set out, right? Because she had already taken over the schedule. But like Fridays were still considered her day. And I just want to point out that her mommy day consisted of a lot of foolishness, okay? So that mommy day thing, there were times that she was, like I said, just playing video games in her room. There's other times where she was like up all night with her son because he was like refusing to sleep or whatever, and she was just exhausted, so she just needed to sleep and blah, 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 blah. But that's neither here nor there. This Friday in particular was so monumental because it wasn't just any old Friday. It was Baby Bonus Friday. If you know what Baby Bonus is, that's because you're Canadian. But if you do not know, or if you're not Canadian, Baby Bonus is pretty much a payment that mothers get, or primary caregivers get from the government every single month until the child is 18.
Hey, shut up.
Your payment varies, so nobody has the same payment as the next mom. No two moms' payments are the same, because if you have one kid, you're gonna get money according to that. If you have two kids, money according to that. 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, however many kids. I think there's a cap, but whatever. I think you can get up to like $6,000 a month in Baby Bonus. But it depends on the ages of your children, your income for the year. Every time you do your taxes, it gets revised, all these things. So pretty much we get some type of incentive to help care for our children, which is awesome. Because it's Baby Bonus Friday, you would think one would, I don't know, use some of that money to pay the credit card bill that they owe on. But do you think that's what my sister did? Do you think that's what she did? Or do you think that she went running errands and then came home? And this day in particular, she was gone from the morning to like late afternoon. Me and my mom were downstairs in the basement with all the kids because my mom had decided she's not staying cooped up in the upstairs room, especially because the air is not working in there anymore because there's all the toys in the bed. So she's like, she don't give a crap what my sister says. She's coming and staying downstairs with the kids because she's not even gonna be home. Well, we hear when my sister comes home, and I'm hearing a lot of racket going on. I'm hearing a lot of racket, so I sneak out of the basement, I come upstairs, and I head over because I see my office door swung open. Y'all wanna know what I saw when I got in there?
Got him!
That lady was sat on the floor in my office building a crafting table, assembling a crafting table. I couldn't believe my eyes.
I cannot believe my eyes.
And it didn't stop there. She had taken all of the things that I had. I had this IKEA chest thingy in there, like a cubby holes. It's 16 holes that you could put drawers into. And I had stuff in every cubby hole. All 16. My sister took my stuff out of 8 of those cubby holes and shifted them into the other 8 cubby holes that I had.
Let me tell your bitch ass
So she condensed my 16 cubby holes down into 8 so that she could have the other 8 split right down the middle. Like Parent Trap picture, okay? Right down the middle. Not okay. I was obviously stunned. I was like, Oh, you bought a crafting table. Nice. I back out of my office because I'm like, what in the mother is going on here? I go back downstairs and I say to my mom, Mom, she's upstairs assembling a crafting table in my office. WTF. My mom is like, but you guys didn't even finish the conversation. I'm like, Mom, we ain't even start the conversation. What you mean finish it? We didn't even get to talking about it. You shoot us out of your room. This is happening less than 24 hours after the conversation was had at bath time. I never said she could move into my office. Never said it. So I'm baffled when I go and see that she's building a crafting table. Because we didn't finish the conversation. Like my mama said, we didn't. So me and my mom are both stunned. My mom's like, wow. I said, well, how do you think I feel? Now, this is a $300 crafting table. I don't know how much her baby bonus was, but I know that it's a good amount. So to spend $300 on the crafting table, but she still had not, and whatever supplies she bought to put on it, which is crazy because she had a crafting table and left it for the junk remover people, a brand new crafting table for the junk remover people. She never brought it to Ottawa with her because it couldn't fit. And then now she depleted the card, and instead of putting money onto the card, she did what? She went out and bought a crafting table. I can't. You can't even make this stuff up. And not only a crafting table, a stool. I was gagged. I'm like, she just has so much audacity. I don't even know where she gets it from. Like, I don't know where she gets it from. Now, obviously, when I go back down to the basement and tell my mom what's going on, and we're both sat there in confusion, I was feeling like sick to my stomach. I actually couldn't stomach most of the stuff that was going on. But I had learned to be still. I had learned to hold my peace. I had learned to be silent until the time is right. Until the time is right. If you recall, when my sister first was planning to come here, remember I had stated that we got off the phone with her and less than 24 hours later she called us back and said we'll be there in like a day or two, and we were like shocked because we were expecting, I don't know, a week or two to go by before we hear back from her and her husband to see if they were coming or not. Didn't expect it to be so soon. So that's very much how my sister is. Like, she just jumps on stuff. She doesn't think about it. She just go like damn energize her body. Like, let it marinate, girl. Season the food and let it marinate. Why is you just, come on now. It's doing too much. But that's how she was. And so the office was the same situation. She didn't let the conversation happen. She just jumped in because she wants to be in control. If she put the crafting table in there, I've already not said anything about all the other stuff that she's done. What am I going to say about the crafting table? Am I going to tell her to get the hell out of my office? Take your crafting table upstairs? Like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? That was obviously how she was thinking. Since I was going to school soon, I was like, I'm gonna chill. But once my pattern drafting course is done, so it was a 5-week-long course. Once the course is done, she needs to hightail it out of my office, and I will, I will gladly have that conversation with her. I'm gonna let her know come November, you got to go. As you can imagine, at this point in my life, I was emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually exhausted. And I was bald. I was bald and exhausted, girl. I was bald.
It's Britney, bitch.
Any hair that I would have had, like I said, I would have pulled it out. So maybe it was better off that I was bald, but I don't think that was ever really supposed to be the plan. I really feel like if my sister never came here, I would probably have never cut my hair off, despite the fact that things were going awry or wrong with Chucky. That being said, the next things that happened let me know very quickly that I was not dealing with a sane person. So boom, my sister, she's trying to create content on TikTok, YouTube, making new random businesses, trying to make birthday party supplies for kids. Like, she's doing a lot, and she's using the Cricut to do it. Now, she had already started a different business prior to moving here. And I actually liked that other business that she had. I thought it was cool, but I don't know if she doesn't know how to push it, like whatever it is, or she doesn't have the platform to sell it to or whatever. At one point, we were gonna do a collab, and I remember her calling me from Stratford and asking like how much she would have to pay me to get a sponsorship. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't really charge you for that. Like, she was my sister. I wouldn't really charge you for that. I think that the best option would be for you to make a coupon code for my subscribers, and I would just show it as like my faves on a blah 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 and blah blah blah, because it actually was something that I liked to use. But she stopped doing it even though all the supplies were in my basement. So when she started up the new business, I was kind of puzzled, like, why wouldn't she just continue the old business? But I don't have an answer for that. Now, despite the fact that she's making all this extra work, and you would think that extra work means extra income, she's still not coming up out of pocket to pay mom, and she's still not putting money on them damn cards. Something is very wrong with this situation. Because, like, why would she be stopping my bag just to not pay mom? What were the motives? Like, what was the driving factor here? You know, none of what she was doing made sense. And obviously my mom is slowly but surely cluing in. And obviously I'm also cluing in that something is very wrong. One day I'm sitting in my kitchen. I think I was eating a parfait, and out of nowhere, my sister, literally nowhere. When I say nowhere, I mean like nowhere. Nowhere. My sister randomly says something about like the check is looking proper this month. And so I'm sitting there, food stuffing in my mouth. I'm like, what check? What check? What are you talking about? Because it was random. We weren't having a conversation. She came downstairs out of nowhere. I don't know, she's getting water, whatever she's doing, and she's talking about the check is looking proper this month. And so I'm like, oh, what check? I think I actually thought it might be baby bonus or something, or her freaking income taxes she kept raving and ranting about. She was like, YouTube, bitch. I'm like, oh yeah. Sorry, that was the norm for me. So even when it was low, it was still giving. So, you know, when she said that, it was like she was trying to tell me, like, you're not the only influencer in the family, darling. Okay? Like, what? I couldn't, I'm like, and? Why is she telling me? Why is she randomly dropping this tidbit about a check? But she really just wanted me to know that she's getting or collecting a YouTube check that is looking healthy. Now, I don't know what healthy is to her where the checks are concerned, because couldn't have been no scratch, because she didn't put no money on the card after she didn't got it. She didn't put no money in my mom's hand after she didn't got it. What's going on? What's going on? So as we get to the nitty and the grittiest of gritty, I just want to mention this really quickly because it's another tidbit that I forgot. But my mom has this thing where she don't work after 5 p.m. But sometimes obviously she works like with the kids, but sometimes she does obviously work after 5 p.m. After I had Nola, I used to do 2 separate baths for my kids. I would bathe them all at the same time, but Nola would get a bath on the counter because she was a newborn. She was too small to go into my big bath with her sister. So they're actually in there right now. So because she was a newborn, I would bathe Nola first, get her dressed, hand her off to my mom, and then quickly bathe Salem and Belle. So that was the new normal for me. Bath times at 7:30. Obviously, that's way after 5 p.m. My sister didn't like that. Mom said she's not working after 5, so like, why are my kids with her after 5? But Nola's like a lump on a log. Like, Nola was a newborn. She couldn't move. She couldn't roll. She could just... like, she just makes noise and like barely hear her. She's so quiet. Like, she was just a baby, a literal newborn. When she was in my mom's room at bath time, she would just either be laying on the bed beside my mom, or my mom would be, you know, holding her, hugging her, kissing her, whatever. So at that point, because my sister's peeping that this is happening, she's finding a way to obviously do her reign of terror. What's wrong, Papa? Mr. Koi. Oh, Mr. Koi Koi. Oh, look at my Koi Koi. Hi. Do we have the same eyes? Look. Look. Oh, it's so much purring. Oh, my baby. Oh, he's so big. It's actually very rare because he has black on him and orange, which male cats do not. So I have a rare breed. So because my sister is an agent of chaos, of course she starts trying to enlist my mom at bath time now. Only she's not enlisting my mom to watch her daughter while she bathes her son, because her daughter and her son bathed at the same time, like Salem and Belle bathed at the same time. They're so close in age. So it doesn't matter. She starts calling my mom into her bedroom. She did it the first night my mom went, but she realized that my mom wants her to actually help bathe the kids. But that's not what my mom don't bathe my kids. Like, what? So she was trying to make her stop helping with Noli. So obviously I peeped this and I'm like, is this for real? So she does it the first night and then she does it the second night. And at that point I'm like, oh God, not this now too. I think the third night, and then my mom had actually been complaining about like a flare up in her shoulder, that her shoulder hurts. And obviously this is not respected. My sister tried to call her to come into her room one night to help bathe the kids. My mom told her no, because she had been complaining for actually a few days about her shoulder, but this day in particular was really bad. She didn't go. Obviously my sister's pissed off because when she returned to the room, she saw that Nola was laying on the bed with my mom. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Obviously, when my mom went the first night, she didn't realize my sister was gonna call her in there every night. Like, she didn't realize that's what my sister was gonna do. But when she realized, she was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not bathing anybody's children at 7:30 at night. It's too much for me. Too much on her back, too much on her arms, bending over the tub. Like, no, do it yourself. Like, what the frig? Like, she just did too much. She gets pissed off because my mom told her no that night in particular. And so of course the next day she started her whole moping thing. Oh, woe is me. Girl, stand up.
Stand up!
Moping around. How did you sleep? What are you gonna do today? I don't know. Probably go for a walk with the kids. Like, girl, get a freaking grip. Like, I can't. She was acting all damn crazy, and at this point we had caught on to it. So it wasn't gonna work. So we were happy to keep our distance when she got to act in these moods. Please keep in mind, I have changed from the Tasmanian Devil shirt to the Tweety Bird shirt because Baby Wheat is free. Okay, free as a bird, free as a Tweety Bird, in case I forgot to mention it in the beginning. But back to what I was saying, my sister is doing the most. She's acting like she's a CEO and needs to do this job and that job and keep my mom working for her and have a reason for my mom to watch her kids in the daytime. Fast forward, summer is coming to a close. I'm about to start school, and my mom has an older brother. She has lots of brothers actually, but she has an older brother that she hadn't seen in over 40 years. This is my mama's story to tell, but I'm gonna give you guys the gist of it because it's important. When the shift happened in 2020, if you know, you know, my mom finally again reached out to her brother because they have had this years and years long feud, and we've always advocated for my mom to talk to him again, and she always has tried on multiple occasions throughout the years, but he was never open or receiving. So it never could happen, but in 2020 it finally happened, and like, I was so happy. We were all so happy for her, elated, like, oh my God, like 40 years is a long damn time to not talk to your older sibling who was your best friend. Like, crazy, especially over something trivial. Because she hadn't seen him in over 40 years, but she was talking to him pretty much every day for the last year, because this all happened in 2021. So from 2020, the time that she started talking to her brother again, to 2021, when all this craziness is going on with my sister, they finally decided that he would come and visit us. So he was gonna come and stay over at our house. We actually didn't know what his plans were, like if he was staying here, Airbnb, but him and his wife were coming to visit, and this was a huge deal. So of course my mom's going to go out, okay? Hospitality to the 10th degree, okay? So she's like getting a charcuterie board, a charcuterie board, okay? She's doing the most. She's like sending me to the store to get oxtail. She's gonna cook. She's just doing the most. She's making sure that when her brother gets here, he's super duper welcome, him and his wife. And so that was the plan. And she's like to me, I hope this is not an oversight, but I hope you know, like, when my brother gets here, I'm not going to be doing anything. And I was like, I don't see a problem with that. Cool. Like, it was such, I knew how big of a deal it was to her. Yeah, so my mom's like, I hope, like, you guys know I'm not watching nobody's kids. Like, my work will be very minimal. When my brother's in town, I think he was supposed to stay like a week. And so, excuse me, my mom was like, she's taking a week off. And I'm cool, no problem. Now, she went and had the same conversation with my sister. I don't know what my sister's response was. I only know what my response was. For it, it's the week that school is going to start for me, which is ironically the same week that her brother's coming. My school day started on a Tuesday, and I think on the Wednesday I was supposed to work. But the Wednesday was also the day that her brother was arriving in town. So technically she's not supposed to be working. But that was pretty much arranged prior to him coming. So it really shouldn't have mattered. That being said, at this point, my sister has moved her stuff into my office, of course. And I was sitting in the living room, and my mom pretty much like the weekend and like the week before her brother got in town, she would be running errands too. So she's out for the day. She has my car and she's doing whatever she's doing. And my sister had actually texted the group chat tomorrow morning, so Tuesday morning, the day I have school, and which at this point my sister knows about school. She has to work, or she's gonna be working, because this would be technically the last day that my mom would be on the clock before her brother gets in town. My mom sees the message, but my mom ignores it. It was in the group chat. Because, well, everybody knows that I have school on Tuesday now. And the arrangement for Tuesdays was going to be that my mom didn't work in the daytime, that I would do the day shift. So from morning until 3 p.m., I would be with my kids. And then my mom would work the evening. So in the daytime, she was really just supposed to be resting and stuff. But because her brother was coming the following day, she was like out running errands. So my sister says she needs to work. My mom ignores the text. I'm sitting in the living room and my sister comes out of my office. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I actually took the opportunity to tell her, I saw your message in the group chat, but I don't think you're gonna get to work tomorrow.